Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're taking a look at the latest German premium tank destroyer Kanonenjagpanzer 3 GST. The tank's available with Ultimate Season Pass along with the skin for 6,000 gold or for additional 4,000 if you buy the Season Pass. But before we get started with the review, let me put your mind at ease. The tank is not on fire and I'm not at 1 HP. It's just a visual bug. In reality I still have the whole 1900 and I'm not on fire. However, I won't know how much HP I'm losing when I'm getting shot at. So just a visual bug inconvenience should be fixed shortly, probably in a day, hotfix. But let's go over my setup. I'm using my Leopard crew with loader camo optics for equipment and 1 liter rapid loading steady aim snapshot, silent driving camouflage, 6 sense situational awareness, and muffled shot for my crew skills. Going with the camo and the gun build to make it more a stealthy as well as a reliable gun as much as possible. You could swap one of the skills, let's say muffle shot, for track mechanic as it is a fixed turret, or like a casemate TD in a way, right? Turret moves 40 degrees left and right, but again, I won't really consider it a turret unless you can rotate for at least 90. So, is this tank worth it? I always say the season pass tanks, always buy it, ultimate season pass if it's 4,000 gold, but this tank, to be honest, if you ask me, it's not worth it. It's garbage. I don't like it. It's worse than every other tank destroyer. It also doesn't have alpha. So why do I hate this tank? Let's get started first of all. The tank had bad pen. Standard is 265, 1200 shell velocity though, it's AP, which is okay, but the premium is 310 for 400 alpha. You could just have better gun in heavy as well as medium. So there is a tank destroyer that does not have pen. On top of that, premium isn't APCR. So well, maybe you would expect it to have camo. Not exactly. The camo is 272. That's what it comes down to. And the T10 bat that the last season's tank destroyer was, you could bring it down to 250. And still, it's about 30-40 more than your regular sneaky tank destroyer. You would expect a tank that is fixed turret and has no alpha to have better camo, but actually it's worse. Which is, you know, it's it's worse. Like you can make it work, but when you have other TDs that are better, what's the reason to play a tank that does not have the alpha or the camo? It does have, on paper you could say it has frontal armor, but in reality it is again, your side gets easily panned, your roof is 20 get overmatched when they shot up top. Even when you're trying to trade, you put only a 400 shot and the other TDs would just go through you because, as I said, you're not like, you don't have that great camo. The Panzerjäger at tier 8 we're getting at say 75 is better than this tank. That of course is an OP tier 10. I think this is the worst tier 10 TD in most situations. You might say that the version 4 is probably worse. That still has armor and a little better alpha, of course no camo, it is fixed turret. This tank does provide the mobility, so if the game does go slow, it might be better than V4, but I don't see this being better than any other tank because a tank with a medium tank alpha, not even a fully rotating turret, and does not even have a decent premium pen 310. To put into perspective, E4 is at 385 pen, I think 268 or V5 Tehran 290, 395 premium pen, and E4 is at 375, and then YAG at 370. It has worse camo than Badger. Badger has better alpha and premium PCR and more reliable armor. So there is nothing that stands out about this tank. You could say it is faster, but what does it matter if it's slightly faster when you can't even make your gun work? In the end, it's about making your gun work. In this match, I was able to do some damage, and there were most games I could barely do 2,000 or 3,000 damage, and even got frustrated where I just died. For no apparent reason. The Tortoise is stock, that's why like I'm blocking a little bit of damage and farming the tanks that are pushing. Unfortunately for Roswell, Roswell is also limited turret rotation. Got caught out by in the open and I was able to punish him. But you will not bounce anything on this tank because the engine deck, when you're turned, you'll go, any tank will just go slide through it, even though it's not an overmatch, but it doesn't really block damage. It's not like you can side scrape, as they'll just go through it. Even your turret or your lower plate premium pen, even from heavy or medium, will go through your tank as well. Not to mention, you don't even have a turret, so you'll always be caught in those awkward positions like this tank who was pushing me. Probably would have killed me, but I had support and my team helped me. As I said, I am getting blocking or getting some damage, but because of the bug, you just see one. It's not like I'm infinitely blocking or not losing HP or I'm immune. So it's just a visual bug. So I was hoping that probably at this point I have lost half my HP. With the shots taken, I do have 1200 blocked, of course, and I went into the replay to see there were some people shooting HE as well. So I'm at 4100 damage. Hailbrown, our team's pushing their base, they're kind of pushing our base, and I'm in the middle trying to attract as less attention as possible, because whenever people see new tank, they want to jump that tank. That is the curse of new tank. They want the medal that we have killed a new tank by a pay-to-win player. So, as I said before, this tank, it's a premium tank, season pass tank, so probably it will get buffed. Every season pass tank in the past has received buff. The latest edition, as we see, TS60 got buffed, 780 got another buff, SP2 has been buffed, BAT probably will be get buffed soon. The season just ended. However, we have seen that the lower or the worse the tanks are, the worse they get the buff. For example, Minotauro was pretty bad tank, it got nerfed. So this tank, it has nothing, no alpha, no armor, no actual armor. You might bounce against tier 8 and 9s, especially if they're not even shooting premium. They don't know where to shoot, or if you like minimum exposing yourself. But as I said, your camo isn't that great, your armor isn't that great. Everything is below average, and then your pen is absolutely garbage. And your alpha, it is the worst alpha for a tier 10 TD. You could say Sturf is 390, but again, Sturf has armor that is actually workable. It has mobility, premium APCR, has the best camo, and you might be able to make it work somewhere. And if you like Excalibur, the tier 6, you might enjoy this tank because it looks exactly like that, like a school bus. But unfortunately, when it comes to making an impact on the battle, this tank does not make any impact. Same as the T114 bat we had the last game, it could be annoying, could have good games, but the active impact when the games are going fast or when you need to pen those shots to get early damage, you just can't do it in this tank because the DPM is worse than a medium or a heavy tank. You're just better off playing a Centurion if you want something with the camo, and Centurion has like been buffed, not to mention the US mediums that have been buffed as well. So if you're limited in gold, you don't have to sweat about buying this tank. You're not really missing out on anything. And yeah, that shell just derped. The other thing I forgot to mention, this tank has worse gun handling than Death Star, which just got buffed by the way again. So 183 caliber has better gun handling than my tank. The bloom is so big, the accuracy isn't that impressive either. How can a tank that has 400, barely 400 alpha, would have worse gun handling than Grill, Tehran, even Death Star? I would expect, for example, like take a case of Star, right? It has really good gun handling or no bloom. It is of course siege mode, but this tank, that is not the case. The gun is probably the worst for any tier 10 tank that fires AP, or at least one of the worst. There might be one or some outliners, but I don't recommend it. It will get buffed, so maybe it'll be worth it then. So if you're a collector, for sure, get it. 4,000 gold, you don't want to miss that out. But if you do, it's nothing special. But I do have a feeling once it gets buffed, probably a little bit more competitive. At this stage, it isn't. And as I said, more often than not, it will get a buff because all this premium season pass tanks do. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Let me know what you think about the tank. Have a great rest of your day.